All right, welcome to my Saturday art stream. My daughter's taking a nap upstairs, and my wife is out at the mall, which is good because that means I get some peace and quiet and I can actually work on my art project. So, this is Children of the Grave. I'm almost done with this page. I just need to put some final finishing touches on it. The ink work is mostly done, I would say, and I just need to fill in the blanks here with these buildings up here, and also the line work on the buildings up here. Although I could do it, I suppose, with the computer. This is taking a long time. I have a newfound appreciation for what comic book artists have to go through to get a page to completion. And I've only had, maybe a few minutes here and there to really, or an hour here or there to really sit down and focus on my project. So when you're working 10, 11 hours a day, that's what life is like. You got to just do an art project on the side. So I feel really good about it. I'm really proud of how this is coming out, and so I'm gonna get started with the ink work here. Let me turn off my camera. You don't need to see my big bald head. That's not going to do anyone any good. Um, let's see. How do you turn this thing off? Oh yeah, OBS. Here we go. All right, let's get started here. I guess I don't need this keyboard anymore. I can put that away. This has been fun though. I'm really appreciating the craft that goes into comic books. This is something I've always wanted to do, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. A lot of fun, and hopefully I can. But I don't know. At my current rate of progress, though, this is going to take a really long time. So maybe over the Christmas break here, I'll have a few days where I can maybe knock out another page. I don't know how quickly that's going to really transpire here. So here we've got I bought a bunch of pens. This one's a Copic multi-liner 0.05. I think that's the thinnest line that I have. Um, as I look around here, I have a lot of other pens. I got the Copics. I got some Microns. Let's see here. I got one called. Let's see. That's a brush pen. I've actually had to use a little bit of whiteout. I suppose that I could fix some things. This one's pretty good. I like this one, the Faber-Castell PITT Artist Pen Black 199. I use this one to kind of get started because it kind of I couldn't tell you what the point zero whatever size on this is, but it gives a good baseline. And then so I use that one first, and then I've been using the brush pen as well for some of the blacks, and having so much fun with this. This is going to be, I'm almost ready to scan it, and then I got to learn how to color. I've never worked with this software before, so I'm going to try to use Clip Studio Art. It's really bright. You're going to have a hard time seeing that. Maybe, you know what though? I want to use my light box. The light box helps with the inking. I can see the lines better from underneath. That makes it really bright though. And look at that. You can see like the screen moving. Oh well. I need it. I need it. I need that thing. Let's see here. What do I want to do? I want to lower the light. I gotta lower the light on this art cam so you can see the lines, but you can't. Well, you don't need to see my pencils. I need to see my pencils. As long as you can see the pen, you're fine. You don't care to see my pencils, do you? Well, let's see what happens here. We'll turn off the exposure auto. Yeah. Oof. Well, that's interesting. If you mess with the exposure setting, I can almost get rid of that white blurry thing going on there. Maybe if I go back here, I lower my brightness. Oh, it comes back. It doesn't really matter. Let's see, that's probably pretty good. You can get in, see some of the line work. Okay, we'll apply that. Okay, okay. Okay, let's draw. This is fun. I'm gonna go see Star Wars tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it because I feel like I've been watching Star Wars for so long that it's cool that another movie's out, but the last one was such a steaming pile of trash. I couldn't get, I was so shocked when I went to the movies. And my son's 9 years old, and I don't know if he knew the difference. We've seen all the movies, so I'm sure if I should ask him what movie he would like to, which is his favorite Star Wars movie. Let's watch a Star Wars movie. Which one do you want to watch? And see which one he likes. I mean, I know that the prequels had their flaws, but I'm really missing George Lucas working on these movies. I really feel badly that for the actors, frankly, that Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, they should have all been in the same movie together. It should have been about them, and it wasn't. They were side characters. They were background characters. They wanted to tell the news story, and they weren't wrong. I mean, you want new characters, but I don't know. I mean, Luke Skywalker's not even in the first movie until the very end. So Harrison Ford, and they knew they only had Harrison Ford for episode 7, so they should have endeavored to tell a story about the original characters. Even if you were going to say goodbye to Han Solo, even if you knew Han Solo was going to die, and that was going to be like your dramatic end of episode 7, that's fine, but it's inexcusable then not to include the other characters to basically work with Harrison Ford. That sucked. And then everything kind of stems from that original sin because you kept Luke Skywalker off the screen for the entire movie. And then the first 10 seconds he's in the movie, he's like, I don't know, he's Uncle Scrooge before the ghosts come. And just a depressing movie. I only saw The Last Jedi once. I'm still in shock. And so I'm reticent to go see this new movie. But on the other hand, could it possibly be worse? I'm seeing some reviews that say this makes it even worse. We're doubling down on our mistakes, maybe. Although I see that there's actually some commentary against The Last Jedi in the movie. More scene-breaking stuff, but I guess it's in universe, so maybe it'll be good for a laugh. I'll get to laugh along with J.J. Abrams making fun of The Last Jedi, which is much maligned. Much maligned. And rightly so. It sucked. It was so bad. I couldn't believe it. I'm still in shock. But I'm looking forward to going to the movie tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Oh wait, here we go. Here's one that's actually even thinner than the 0.05. It's the 0.03. That's pretty thin. Let's give that one a whirl. All right, let's get to work here. It's going to be fun moving into the learning how to use Clip Studio Art. I got a book, actually, that's going to help me. I figured that was the way to go because it has similar tools to Photoshop, and I figured I could do all the colors and all the bubbles for the words and everything using the same software. And this is going to probably make writers really upset, but my outline is to draw the pages first and imagine it along as I go. That's how I made comic books when I was in high school. I would draw the pictures first, and I'd say, what's the dialogue? What's the narrative? Because I want to see it first. If I can't, it's one thing to write it, right? You write it, and then it's like, oh, it doesn't look like what the picture doesn't correspond to what I wrote. Now what? But I think I don't know, it's kind of fun. Plus, I write all day at work. I don't want to sit and look at a computer screen if I'm thinking about a comic book. I want to look at my page. So we'll see how it comes out. Maybe maybe I would. I mean, I already have the outline, so I already know what the story is. It's in my head. I've got a little black book with the entire plot or major plot points, and I know what the in-betweens are. What's going to surprise me as I'm working on this. And then I don't know if that's right or wrong, or as long as I'm having fun. It's not like I'm in the middle of production or anything, or like I have a deadline. This will get done when it gets done. We'll see how many pages I get through before I lose energy. I wonder if you can hear my daughter. She's singing. She's not napping. She probably hears me talking. But I'm all the way downstairs. She's all the way upstairs, so it wouldn't be any better if I had the TV on or whatever. But she likes to sing. My daughter lives her life in song, and she is such a sweetheart. Such a sweetheart. We do love her very much. You should love you. Love your daughter. Love your children. I think I screwed that up. Maybe not. One of the things I did was I drew my shadow lines in perspective. Our daughter did. I figured that they would look more like they were on the walls. Or, existing. And drawing background is very tedious. So like I said, I have a newfound appreciation for what comic book artists who produce this professionally. I mean, I can see why it takes like so many hours to just really fine tune a page and make it the way you want it to. This is the challenging part right here. The torches on the wall. This is going to take some trial and error. I don't know all the tricks. I know how to draw. I went to art school, but we didn't do much pen and ink when I went there. Lots of charcoal, life drawing. And there's my daughter, the opera singer. Might have to take a break here. Sooner than expected. That looks pretty good. I like that. Not too much. I actually pre-planned my ink lines. I'm going to have to, I want to work a little looser in the subsequent pages. I feel like I have a better idea of how these inking pens are going to look and feel, and so eventually I'll be so confident all I'll have to do is the initial breakdowns on the pencils, and then I can just jump right in the ink, and I think that'll speed up the process a whole lot because I really am doing double duty here. And so what I should endeavor to do is to just get the basic outlines of everything and then go from there. Once you have the basic outline, then you can fill in your shadow and your line work as you go along, and that's probably a lot faster, but it's also riskier because with the pencils you can experiment and you can say, oh, what's this going to look like? But if I actually ever want to have a book, I gotta I gotta speed up the process here. Let's see, we got this little girl here. Let's see, yeah. This is one area I had to use whiteout. But I'm okay with the whiteout because it's not, well, it's easy to work over it, frankly. And when I scan it, it's not going to make much of a difference. I'm not worried about selling the artwork, although, I don't know, I'm aesthetically, it doesn't bother me on the page. Standing far away, you can't really see it. But you make a mistake, right? You want it to look good before you scan it. And because if you can fix it on the canvas or on your artist board, then you don't have to futz around with it in the computer program, although I suppose I could. Let's see, there should be some shadow there. There we go. Looks better that way. Should be darker. This is right below the fire, so why wouldn't it be darker? That's why it's taking so long. So I keep futzing with it. But nice to get some peace and quiet. My wife is happily at the mall right now, doing some last minute shopping. Wonder what I'm gonna get. I got my son a Switch. He's getting a Switch, and I found the Mega Man X series on the Switch. Good deal, only $25. And I found Mega Man 11. He loves Mega Man. And yeah, he's gonna be really, really happy. And let's see, he got Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I've heard that very good things about that. Let's see, he wanted Smash Brothers and Mario Maker 2. So we got those two. These games are so expensive. $60 for a game. It's unbelievable. And I remember some games back in the C64 days and the IBM days. I guess could they get as high as $60? I mean, it's like the console itself used to. The Switch itself. It's $300, and so then you end up spending a couple $100 just for games, just to get a few games. But I guess that's how they make money. They need to make money. If they don't make money, they're not making anything. Let's see. We're missing spots here. Really want to do that right now. Maybe if we get more of this line work in. Let's see. Let's get a different width here. It's probably not very exciting to listen to someone. She's still singing. I'm gonna go see what she wants. I'm gonna take a break. I'll put on some music. All right, we've made a lot of progress here. I think there's a lot of ink on here, and I keep smudging it, and I screwed up. I should. That's why one of the reasons why this can take a little longer. Yeah. Oh. But I made some horrific smudges on here, and they're bothering me. So I'm gonna fix them, sort of. I'm gonna put white out. Have to draw some of these lines again. We'll draw them again. That's fine. But there shouldn't be smudges. Smudges don't look good. You can make a mistake, and I could just work right back over that if necessary. But I feel really proud of this page now. It's I think it, like, should I scan it now? There's a little bit more to do actually here. I still got the pavement, right? The road's supposed to have this texture. You're supposed to see all these, yeah. I think this came out really good though. I'm really looking forward to coloring it. Like the torchlight thing going on here on the walls. That's gonna be fun to color in. I'm gonna really, it's gonna be a lot like painting. This is gonna be like painting. In art class, we would you start out grayscale, get your blacks, hardly any black really, because if you're painting, you don't use straight black. So this is different, because if you use straight black on when you're painting, the contrast is too great between black and white. But in pen and ink, you're supposed to draw, it's supposed to have this really steep contrast. And then there's the question of, what do I do with the pencils? Do I erase them? Will I screw up my pen lines if I try to erase it? But there's gray pencils. It's not going to look good if you scan it and there's all this pencil work on there. There shouldn't be pencils. You shouldn't see the pencils. When you look at a comic book page, it's clean, it's black and white. So I have to erase it. But I'm afraid to, because what if it messes it up? Maybe I'd be better off somehow using the contrast settings upon scanning to, or maybe what there actually is a setting in my scanner that for line work, and I don't know how that's going to look. It might just take the gray pencil lines, right, and then convert the ones that are barely visible into kind of like a dry, it'll make it look like a dry ink brush or something like that. I don't know what's going to happen. So maybe what I'll do is, after I'm done with the inks, I'm just going to scan it, right? And then I can go in and try to erase everything, all the pencil lines, and then scan that when that's done and see which one looks better, right? And then maybe I can almost put one on top of the other as like a, although I don't know how that would look, but you could try that. Take elements from one and incorporate it into the other, but really just want a nice clean scan, so that, because I don't want to mess with it. Why do I want to keep messing with this thing? Of course, this is the first time I'm trying to convert a page over, so I'm nervous. I don't know what I'm doing. This is an experiment for me. For professionals, they do this all the time. I am not a professional. Do not try this at home. There we go. Yeah, smudged up there too. Every time I pick up my hand, I find some ink on it. That's what I get for not letting the ink dry. I'm trying to work quickly. So you just got to be careful. You're going to do I think you do your darks last. You want to kind of build up to your darks and then get a good contrast. I notice a lot of inkers nowadays they're not using black. It's kind of like they're just tracing the outlines. And I don't know. I mean, I guess with the digital colorization, you want to let the colorists do all the texture, right? And I don't know if I agree with that, but maybe I could try it that way because then I'll wind up doing all the textures once I scan it and come in there, right? But I don't know. It should look good at a grayscale. It should and I with the blacks and the whites, or just in black and white. It should look good in its own right, so that because if you're going to hang it up, right? Say you were going to hang this picture up, you'd want to see all the textures just in the black and white because that's the way. I don't know. It's the way I learned to draw. I want to see the lines. I like line work. Line work's fun. It's tedious though, so I can see why it'd be faster, right? To just trace the outlines. But then I'm not going to get all these fun textures on the dragon wings and everything like that. And I got some brush work in there as well. You can see some brush work down here, and I just kind of work it in all around. And I think that looks good. I'm really happy with this. I'm really happy with how this came out. Yeah, going too much. There we go. All right, this guy right here. I didn't finish this guy. He's not done. Let's see. Let's come back. He's really up close. We should be using a thicker line. Okay, let's try this one. Perfect. Horns are fun. I like horns. I like drawing spirals, so like kind of ram kind of horns. They give you an opportunity to do spiral textures. This is fun though. I'm so glad I picked up drawing as a hobby again. So much fun. You don't know how much you miss drawing until you pick it up again. But it was so hard to get the energy. You work all these hours, you come home and you're artistic, right? You want to write some music. It's like, oh, I'm too tired. I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy to write music. I don't have the energy to draw. And you just want to be a couch potato when you get home. Long day. I feel like I'm getting more confident though, so next page I'm going to try to do very loose pencils and see if I can just come in and draw it, because there's the line work, you just have to know which pen to use, because I feel like if I draw my lines first in pencil and trace over them, then it's not just tracing, of course, but you use different widths of pen. So if I were to just come in, I guess if you work fast, the faster you work, the more pages you're going to get done. And what I envision is Children of the Grave is going to be about 100 pages. It's going to take me so long. I don't know how I'm going to do this and do my day job. Don't quit your day job. That's what the voice inside of me tells me. It says, oh, Robert's thinking about quitting his day job again. Let's warn him that you're only as good as your last job, and you need to make money for your family. That's the wise thing to do. Don't quit the day job. So this is just going to be a hobby. Can't do this for a living. Maybe I get a book together and then try to sell it. Get most of it done. Get it 90% of the way done, or get all the pen and inks done. And say, okay, and show what I can do coloring. I have to learn how to color. And I figured the more you do this, right, the quicker it'll go. And maybe I'll figure out some shortcuts along the way. So I shouldn't be discouraged that this is taking so long, or that I'm taking my time, because I should be taking my time. I'm learning to draw again. And when you're learning to draw again, you don't want to screw up. That wouldn't be wise. I'm actually drawing to the edge of my comic board, because I don't know what's going to happen when I scan it. I don't know what all these blue lines are for. And I'm just used to working to the edge of a canvas, so I'm probably making more work for myself. And I don't know when I transfer it over to Clip Studio, I think how I configure it. And this actually got a really useful book. Reminds me of a college textbook. But let's see here. Yep, Learn Clip Studio Paint, 2nd edition, Packet.com. It's by Liz Staley. I haven't read it yet, so I'm just gonna scan everything in and see how it works. So I didn't take a college class on this, so I needed a college textbook on it. I mean, maybe that's what they use it for. Like, you're gonna teach Clip Studio Paint. Started a comic book school. It's a good idea. Maybe we should do like we could have like online classes. Comic Skate should start a school. And then you pay a subscription, and then you get all these free drawing lessons. Well, not free, you're paying a subscription, but you get all these drawing lessons as a part of the subscription. But how would you organize such a thing? Plus, I mean, that's why I didn't get into arts, because it's the life of a struggling artist. So you gotta constantly be drawing, and I don't know if I could have done it. I did go to art school, and I was terrified of what was out there when I finished. I didn't know what would happen. Like, oh, is this really a good idea? Should I be an artist? And then the political bug, and so I went into politics. It's my day job. It's crazy right now. They're impeaching the president. That doesn't happen every day. Although they've been impeaching him for like 3 years now, so it's not really surprising where we are now as a nation. But here we go, getting political again. This is why I'm drawing, because I don't want to think about that shit. Fucking politics is destroying this country. It's tearing us apart. And I contributed to it. I started in 2008, it's 2019 now. 11 years done. It's a sad thought, but I did contribute to it. Not because I was doing anything hateful or anything, it's just contributing to a partisan climate. But raising a family and pays the bills. Politics pays the bills. How can I argue with that? Get to talk about politics all day. Everyone else is talking about politics all day. They're not getting paid. I don't know why. If I were not in politics, would I spend all day on Twitter talking about politics? Fuck no. That's my goal with this project, is to get out of politics. Maybe I could trick my political opponents into funding my Indiegogo when I get started. Tell them that if you get me up to, I'll make a stretch goal if I raise if you raise a certain amount of money, I'll quit politics and do comic books full time. I'll retire from politics. A retirement from politics stretch goal. But I have to be realistic. I don't think I could do this full time because it's going to be really hard to build up a following. Need a platform that's big enough to have enough, viewers to really justify launching a campaign. But it will launch when it launches, and we'll see where we are. Probably in a few years. It's going to take a long time because I'm not quitting my day job. And I'm not going to put this sucker up until there's at least 50 pages done. I've only got one done. Am I done? Nope, got to do all this stuff down here. Got to do the road. The walls look good. I don't want to fuck with it too much. Looks pretty good. I think it's not gonna get any better. It's just getting more detailed. But I don't like having bad looking lines. If I see a bad looking line, I want to come in and cross hatch over it, add some more black to it. Because once you start adding black, it throws the contrast. So you can't just trace everything and then throw some heavy blacks here and there. Although that's the way comic books have been done. So I'm just probably not doing this right. I'm spending it's too detailed. Spending too much time. But it looks okay. I mean, I feel proud of it. Maybe I should be proud of it. Just happy to be drawing. Drawing's fun. What do we want to do? Let's do point. Do I have 0.2? Maybe 0.2 is the way to go. See, 0.5, that's too thick. 1.0, way too thick. 0.8, 0.5, 0.3. And there's a 0.3. Let's see how thick it's 0.3. That's good. All right, here we go. Got to change your line width. I see a lot of books and a lot of drawings right now, and it looks like they're not varying their line width enough. And so you don't get any texture, you don't get any depth. You can create depth with the black and white. The comic books I read when I was growing up, they use lots of black. Like Klaus Janson, he is an excellent inker. He did the line work or the inking work for Dark Knight Returns. Masterpiece. Love that comic book. Actually made a pretty good movie out of it. The DC animated version of The Dark Knight Returns. Really good. Batman versus Superman. Totally fucked up. I hate that movie. I was like, oh, are they going to steal elements from The Dark Knight Returns? Yes, they did. And they did Doomsday. Let's do Doomsday and Dark Knight Returns. Let's kill Superman. And let's do Batman versus Superman in all the same movie. What a fucking train wreck. What the fuck did they do that for? Why wouldn't they just take the script from Dark Knight Returns and, I don't know, do The Dark Knight Returns? That'd be a cool live action movie, but I don't want them fucking touching it. They'll fuck it up. Just look at what they did to Batman and Superman. You're going to have to wait 20 years to erase that from everyone's memory so they could do it proper. What a fucking... Man. The people who make these movies, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. the people making television shows, they do much better. I think because they know they have the space. They know they can do several different ideas, and sometimes some episodes are better than others, right? So it's almost trial and error. All right, let's see. Yeah, looks like some road. What would they pave the road in hell with? I wonder. I mean, why not use asphalt? It's hell. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Of course, it wasn't supposed to be hell. This is Children of the Grave. So Mortacia, you see her here. She's the goddess of death. And her kingdom is in Hades, but she's been kicked out and now she's coming back. She's coming back to reclaim her kingdom single-handedly. She's a goddess, so she's going to be really powerful, really hard to kill, really hard to hurt, but she's got to fight all these demons when she gets to Hades. The city's been overrun by demons, and they're torturing all of the souls in the afterlife. They've taken over the city. So it was City of the Dead, and now it's the Realm of the Damned. And if you live, you die, you're going to hell. There's no paradise because Mortacia can't send you there. She's lost her powers. And the reason she's losing her powers, and she's weak, actually, she's very vulnerable. She's more vulnerable now than she's ever been. That's why this trip of hers to Hades is going to be exceptionally dangerous. She's lost the source of her power. Her aunt is stealing her powers by raising the dead and undermining her authority over souls, so she can render judgment as part of her powers and then send you to paradise after you die. That's what she's supposed to do. She kills you. She's not killing you like whatever happened to you in real life. That's what killed you, but she's responsible for making sure that people die so that the world doesn't become overpopulated. Shitty job, but you get to meet everyone. So that's actually kind of cool. It would be cool to be death because you can meet everybody. And so she knows every soul. She knows their names, and in the afterlife, they'll recognize her. Like, oh, you were there when I died. You sent me to this horrible place. So I imagine that the people, the souls in Hades, they're going to have mixed feelings about her. You abandoned us. I think that's going to be they're going to think she abandoned them. She's not really abandoning them, though. She had to make a strategic withdrawal because it was too dangerous. It's too dangerous for her in Hades. I'm not going to save the afterlife if the Erithus captures her. Erithus is the evil god of war. He's taken up residence in Hades. He's taken it over. He's the kind of like the big bad dude. He's Lord of Tyranny. Well, is he murder? I don't know if he's murder. I have to check the pantheon. I have a whole pantheon of gods and goddesses. I couldn't even remember all their names. Of course, I wrote all this 20 years ago. Was it 20 years ago? Jeez. Almost 20 years. 2001 was when Children of the Grave was created. And then my life changed. Everyone's life changed because of 9/11. And then that's when I said, I need to pay attention to politics. Politics is really important. And it is. It is really important. And it's also tearing this country apart. Not quite sure what to do about that. Not responsible for it, per se. But like I said, I'm contributing to the problem. But I get paid. And someone's got to do it professionally and try to put things into context. It's my job. I put the issues of the day into context. It's a cool job. Cool job. You get to talk about politics all day, write about politics, do videos. Comicsgate taught me how to do videos for my day job. I incorporated the idea. I said, we can have a YouTube channel. And so we do. We were up to about 800 and almost 50 followers. We can put almost to 1,000. It's coming along, but it's absolutely what they say. If you want a successful YouTube channel, you got to make videos every day. This YouTube channel, we're going nowhere. I think we got 12 subscribers. Thank you. Whoever is subscribing, thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the share button. Tell someone about this place. The more people who are watching, if there are more people watching, I'll probably be inspired to do this more often. I'll say, oh, there's an audience, and so I can work faster, but I don't have that much time to draw, but I would have to make other kinds of videos. I think what I'll do, everyone's talking about Star Wars now. I'm going to review, or I'm going to try to review the new trilogy. I'll already tell you what I think. It's such a missed opportunity. Tragedy, really. It's a tragedy what happened. They had Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill. You know you only have Harrison Ford for one movie. You know it, J.J. Abrams. You knew it. What the fuck were you thinking? And then he did exactly what he did to Star Trek. He destroyed everything. In Star Trek, J.J. Abrams, when J.J. Abrams became the head of Star Wars, I was like, oh, fuck. He fucked up Star Trek. The first movie was okay, but they destroyed Vulcan. He turned Star Trek into Star Wars. He destroys Vulcan. That was fucked up. And he ruined Kirk. Not the actor. The actor is great. He was actually perfectly cast for Kirk. The dialogue, Scotty was hysterical. Good casting. It's not his fault. But J.J. Abrams tells everyone to run around and scream. What are you going to do? You're going to run around and scream. So Finn, in the new Star Wars, he's running around and screaming all the time. And I haven't even seen the last movie yet, but I'm sure he did the same thing. And they just ruined these characters. But the casting is great. I think I like Rey. I thought Rey was a good character. When we first saw her, I thought there was potential there. I didn't care if she was female or whatever. That's not the problem. It's just that there's no backstory there. What's their backstory? I wonder. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna find out in the Last Jedi, the Rise of Skywalker. I'm gonna find out just how messed up this backstory. Because this better be good. This backstory better fucking be good. Because they should have just established who she is in the first movie. That's how they did it with Luke. Would they tell you who Luke is? They introduce you briefly to his family. You witness the tragedy of him losing his family. He has a reason to go then on his hero's quest journey with Obi-Wan and take on the Empire, basically out of revenge and a sense of justice to prevent it from happening again. Any more families losing their loved ones from the evil Empire. And that's a basic premise there, right? So what was Rey's reason for going on this quest? I mean, she's saving Finn, I guess, right? In The Force Awakens. Finn is the former stormtrooper and the need to escape. And BB-8. She's got to take care of BB-8. But boy, I mean, they fucked up everything. R2-D2 is deactivated. Or he's shut down. He's so sad that Luke left. Luke Skywalker's not in the damn movie. And I think that's really the problem. It should have been like Han and Leia and Luke's greatest adventure, an even greater adventure. They've defeated the Empire. They can finally be together. The whole movie, I mean, in Empire Strikes Back, they all get separated. Luke and sees Han very briefly at the beginning of Empire Strikes Back, and then they separated. But at least you saw them together, and you had them together in A New Hope. So you didn't. Besides, you needed to send Luke to go meet Yoda and go on his journey. And so in The Last Jedi, it's basically The Empire Strikes Back, except not at all original. Yoda is reluctant to train Luke. Luke is reluctant to train Rey. So it's like the same thing there, right? Except Yoda basically comes to his senses in, like, I don't know, 2 minutes of screen time. We don't have to sit around waiting for an hour for Luke to train. Or for Yoda to train Luke. He pretty much, he's, I don't know, he's too old to begin the training. Obi-Wan intervenes, and then, okay, I'll train you. And then we didn't belabor the part of why was Yoda so reluctant. We know why now in Revenge of the Sith. He fails to defeat Palpatine, so he goes off into exile. And I guess that's the same story in Last Jedi, right? Luke screws up Kylo Ren. And so he's going to live in exile now. And it's the same story. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe do something different. Maybe I would have liked, it would have been cool to see Luke as the head of the Jedi Order and all these new Jedi. There should have been like 100 Jedi by the time The Force Awakens comes around. Hundreds of Jedi. That would have been awesome. And it could have been like the Old Republic again. New Republic. That could have been great. And then there could have been some new threat. Although I never read the novels, I'm gonna read them now. I'm gonna finish watching this movie, and I'll check out the novels because I'm sure it's better than whatever they did here. Just a totally missed opportunity. So sad. Just really sad about what they did. This is the part I was afraid of, going into the middle of the road, because once you start creating because you could just leave it blank. I could just say, oh, done, and just color it in but I want the lines. Although I should consider the negative space aspect of it, just to lead the eye around. I think you need to see the texture, frankly. The eye wants to see the texture of the road. It looked blank when I was drawing it too, so I said, I gotta come in there and do the road. My wife's probably gonna call me soon. Come and pick me up. Oh yeah. My daughter, sometimes it takes her like an hour to fall asleep. I gotta wake her up. I'm running out of time here. I'm not gonna finish this page today. But I'd say it's 90% done. Mostly the reason I'm not going to finish today is because I got to do this area here. I did it with the ruler, with the vanishing points, and if I want that to look good, I got to use a ruler again. Buildings if you freehand draw a building in comic book, pen and ink style, I don't think it looks good. I could freehand it would be much quicker, and it's not going to look good. Buildings are straight, the stones or whatever. I mean, it's gonna, maybe it looks a lot like a city. I'm hoping with all of these arches and torches, we're selling the idea that this is a medieval kind of setting, and it's not modern technology. Plus the fact that she's got a sword, right? He's got an axe, so there's demons. So it's almost like Temple of Doom when the children get caught, and they enslave the children to go look for the sacred stones. That's a good movie. I'm terrified what they're going to do to Indy. People complained about the Crystal Skull, but they have no idea. I mean, I think that when Disney took over, it's like how much could they fuck this up? It's like we used to look forward to the idea of they should bring Harrison Ford back and do Indy. And they did. You got the Crystal Skull. And I'm just horrified. Maybe they've learned their lesson. Hopefully Steven Spielberg, I think Steven Spielberg will be directing it. So that gives us an anchor. Steven Spielberg won't let Disney fuck up Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford will not let Disney fuck up Indiana Jones. If he doesn't like the script, he won't make the fucking movie. And so, I don't know if that's why Force Awakens was better than Last Jedi, but I suspect because it had Harrison Ford in it. So it'd be interesting to see what Harrison Ford's contract was. What were his terms and conditions for doing Star Wars again? I remember reading a news article that said that he wouldn't do, or as a part of the agreement, he also wanted a clause to, and I don't know if it's true or not, to do another indie. That, oh, you're buying Lucasfilm, so I want to be indie again. I want to do another Indiana Jones. I love Indiana Jones. My favorite movies when I was growing up. I love Star Wars too. Star Wars is great. And the prequels, there were flaws. I'm convinced if in the Attack of Clones you take out that stupid scene where Anakin and Padme are in the field with those stupid bouncing cows, if you just delete that scene, that movie, like, it gets another half a star just by deleting that one scene. And I think is the root cause of why, because the scene that comes after it where Anakin and Padme are like by the fire, he's gonna try to kiss her or whatever, and that was a better scene. You didn't need both scenes. They clash against one another, and it's so awkward. But that's what George Lucas was going for. He wanted you to feel teenage angst, awkwardness, because being a teenager is awkward. Talking to girls is awkward when you're a teenager if you don't have confidence. And Anakin's trying to find his confidence, and he's in love with Padme. In any event, the prequels are superior in almost every way to the new trilogy. It had a story. George Lucas had a story to tell. He knew what he wanted. He had a plan. The Revenge of the Sith is the culmination of that. And The Revenge of the Sith is an excellent movie. It's definitely in my top 5 of Star Wars movies. I don't know what I guess the Empire Strikes Back is considered the best one, but the New Hope is the original one. And New Hope's an excellent movie. It's original, and then so building on the sequel, it's still original in the Star Wars-iness, but and it did some groundbreaking things. I think with the Jim Henson doing Yoda, the special effects. I think they got an Oscar for the special effects. And Return of the Jedi, is a perfect end to. I love the end of Return of the Jedi when he's fighting his father. And the score, John Williams' score of Return of the Jedi is just phenomenal. And you could just listen. You can listen to the John Williams soundtrack, and you'll know exactly what scene it is, exactly what's happening. Like, it just meshed together so well. And he's like he's like, Beethoven. He's modern day Beethoven, modern day Mozart. John Williams. We're so fortunate to have him. Our culture. We're just a very fortunate culture, very fortunate to live at this time in history, have all these wonderful conveniences and technologies. And I remember reading a statistic that half the people who have ever existed, something like this, something like 50% of the people who have ever existed are alive right now. And so you think about, how unlikely it is to have been born in this, because there's like so many years of history, right? Whether you believe in young Earth or old Earth, human history, civilization is about 6,000 years old or 10,000 years old. And so the likelihood is that if you're a human, you're alive today. You're more likely to have been alive today as a human than at any other point in history because there's more people. And so you can count up how many people there have been in history. And so I remember seeing a study about this. It's really interesting. But yeah, if you think about probabilities and the likelihood of being alive at this point in history, it's like, oh, we're so fortunate. Good thing we didn't live 1,000 years ago. The Black Death or whatever. The Middle Ages. Oh, that's a really interesting time in history. A lot of historical things happened in antiquity, but the population was so much smaller. The likelihood is you wouldn't have been alive during those days. You'll be alive today. And so we get all the smartest people now. Because there's so many people, the likelihood is you get more geniuses and so more inventions. And the reason the population is growing so much is because of the Industrial Revolution. We can produce food at a magnitude never seen before in history. And now with genetics, engineering, and crops and everything like that, starvation has really been mitigated worldwide. Poverty is dropping worldwide. And a big reason for that, I guess, is global trade. Expansions of economies. So you get more geniuses. You get more John Williamses and George Lucases. And although maybe they're not being promoted in Hollywood anymore, maybe that's why the movies suck now. They have a formula for corporate formula. And then, and now the CEOs or whoever's in charge of these companies have decided they need to, let's do politics. Let's include politics, our politics in these stories, so that way people hate them. Because you're going to turn off your audience. What's the politics of Children of the Grave? Well, there will be politics. There's going to be cities and people vying for power and control. I don't think there's going to be too much ideology. No, I'm not going to inject modern day politics into a medieval setting. Why the fuck would I do that? Why I'm quitting politics. But the grass is always greener on the other side. So I can imagine that if I had been doing art for 25 years or 30 years, that I would have gotten, I'd feel like, oh, I'm not accomplishing anything, or there's all these things going on in the world that are important. See, she's all scuffed up here. She's trapped in hell, and see, she's crying. She's saying, "Save me, Mortasia." Here we go. She's all scuffed up though. It's like the kids in Temple of Doom. That's what I'm going for here. It's a very dark idea that everyone who lives, dies, goes to hell. It's a scary idea because there's no escape. If people knew, what would they do? Well, I think what's going to happen is, and it's kind of spoilery, but whatever. I could see this book for years. Never going to see this book. I'm never going to fucking finish. It's just my hobby. Especially if I take this much time to draw a fucking page. One page. I mean, who do I think I am? Dore. Dore, he did the Dante's Inferno. You should check these. I think they're lithographs. It's the thing where you scrape. It's kind of like a black piece of paper, but you can scrape it off. I forget what you call that thing you scrape it with. Let's see. My wife called me. I really need to go. I gotta go back to the mall. I should just wake up my daughter and have a quick dinner, and then go pick up my wife to start heading over there. This is pretty good. I'm gonna let it in, plus I should let the ink dry. No more smudges. But whoever's watching, thanks for watching. I gotta go. I gotta go. It got dark out too. Let's see here. Hello. I'm down here. I'm gotta go, but I'll be back. I'm gonna do that. I got a week off, and so in the next few days I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna definitely finish this page, scan it, and then bring it on over into Clip Studio Art, and then start making coloring streams. I'll try to get started a little bit before I turn on the camera, though, so that way I'm a little bit along and I'll have learned some of the ropes, so it's not boring, like, oh, Robert doesn't know what he's doing with the computer. That's all right. I don't know what I'm doing with this picture either. I think it looks okay, though. I'm really, really, really proud of this. Really proud of it. It's gonna look good. Actually, it looks good on the screen. I can see the but just give you, let's see. Let you see the line work and everything. I think this is gonna come out really nice. And they did some line work up there, and then oh yeah, there's this thing down here. Panel down here where their sword meeting axe. But I've been working on this for months now. Not really. I've only probably put in about a week's worth of work on it when you add up all the hours. Maybe I put in like 10, 12 hours, maybe 14 hours on this if you combine it all. So I know I could work faster if I just sit down and just start cranking away. All the talent's there to do it. But all right, I'm out of here. I gotta go wake up my daughter, make dinner, go to the mall. You guys have a good day, and go see Star Wars, even if it sucks, because you need to see it to believe it.